Alrighty, welcome back to From Day One, episode 42.3. As always, we'll grab the mailbag first, see what we have waiting in there. Art is waiting on the back side. Oh, there's only 2 hearts, okay. With his individuals. So again, as always, I will only interrupt for the musical bumpers so we do not get copyright strikes and anything specific that we need to address here. But until then, back to Midnight in the Desert, part 3 of his superpower lines.
Are more stories like that out there to be heard? People who were in situations that would have resulted in their immediate mortality. In other words, you're about to hit a truck, you're about to hit a car, and somehow you're out on the other side of it in one piece. Now, that would certainly give credence to the guest I had on last night, who will be on again, be assured. We were talking about that sort of thing, and I think it's amazing, and I think there's something to it. Too many stories not to be. On my superpower line, you're on the air.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Julie.
Julie.
And I'm in Sandy, Utah.
Sandy, Utah. All right, Julie. Are you listening on the internet or to radio?
Well, I'm listening on the internet, but we do have, when I'm in the car, I listen on KTKK 6:30 a.m.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, sir.
All right, so you're on my superpower line, I hope with reason.
I have reason. I don't know if it's a superpower or a super curse.
Okay.
I have a hypersensitive sense of smell.
A hypersensitive, excuse me, what?
Sense of smell.
Oh, sense of smell, okay.
I can smell things that nobody else can. I worked in an ER for 15 years as a nurse, and I could smell them and tell, like, what was wrong with them. As a matter of fact, my mom came in one night, and she was really sick. She didn't know. I said, you have a urinary tract infection. How do you know that? That's disgusting. And I said, I can smell it.
No, I understand. I have heard people say this before. I have heard references also to animals that are able, through the sense of smell, to detect illness. So I believe you.
Yeah, and my sister is a homicide detective. And,
really?
Yeah, she'd be a really interesting guest, by the way. She's the one. Did you ever hear about the Lori Hacking case, the lady that was killed by her husband and buried in the landfill out here? And they spent like 3 months digging in the landfill to find her.
By the way, what are you talking on?
Just a cell phone.
A cell phone, okay.
Yeah,
the landfill case, yeah, vaguely it sounds familiar.
Yeah, it was one of those things that Nancy Grace got her hooks in, and it became national news.
Boy, when she gets her hooks into something, she doesn't let go, huh?
Boy, that's the truth. It can take a normal, and I guess I shouldn't say that it's normal, but it is normal, a normal domestic homicide, and turn it into this awful thing when it's happening every day and every day.
I know.
But
again and again, I know.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I think that's a remarkable... How do you handle this when you're in the company of others?
It can be really irritating. The smell of their laundry detergent bothers me.
Yes.
And it will actually make me nauseous. And like one time, I was taking some classes at a community college, and I was talking to my sister, the homicide detective, on the phone. I said, every time I get here, they burn the coffee. I can smell the burned coffee every time. And she said, there's a crematorium across the street. And so I was smelling the crematorium.
No, I don't think it takes super smell to get that one. Listen, I want to make a suggestion to some of you. I live out here in an area where, to be frank, cell phone coverage is virtually non-existent. I live sort of down the hill from the bad area anyway. AT&T, which happens to be my provider, just started something that is really cool. And this is yet another way for some of you to sound really, really good when you call. So here it is. AT&T has just rolled out what they call Wi-Fi calling. And if you're in a bad cell area, oh man, give it a try. There are other cell services that do this, but Wi-Fi calling is about 5,000% better than normal cell phone calling from a quality point of view, or even a reliability point of view if you happen to live in a very bad area. What I would say is if you've got AT&T and an iPhone or something like that, check into it, because Wi-Fi calling can sound every bit as good as Skype. It's that much better. It's kind of worth giving a try. So I think nationwide, Wi-Fi calling has simply just been rolled out by AT&T. And you might want to give it a try and then, call a friend or something and say, how do I sound? And, oh my, you're going to sound a lot better. So, something to play with. Wi-Fi calling. T-Mobile, I think, also does it. And others are on.
Alrighty, again, muted for the musical bumper. We'll return to them as soon as they don't. I tried to cue it as close as I had last night. We might have a small overlap on the episode. My apologies if we do. Best group put up against Team 1. Second best group up against Team 3 here in the Grand Arena.
Bell, and it's very late, so I'm sleeping now. But you're awake, so call my daddy because he's awake too. The number is 1-952-225-5278. That's 1952. Call Art.
That's Asia. Good morning, everybody. It is morning for the majority of you at this time. Still just a little after 11 out here on the Pacific Coast. So we've got open lines. That means anything you want to talk about is absolutely fair game. We have a superpowers line, which has been full the entire night. Area code 575-208-7787. And I am searching for people with real superpowers. So if that's you, call that number. If not, don't. The first-time caller line is area code 775-285-5800. Skype, of course, at MITD51 for North America and MITD55 for the rest of the world. So, let's see. Let's try another superpower call. You're on the air. Hello.
Greetings, Art.
Greetings, sir. You're breathing into your mic.
It's a cell phone apparatus or similar to that.
Sounds pretty good, actually, other than the breathing.
I am a telepath.
Really? So, by this you mean, is it one way or both ways? You can read my mind?
I have intercepted your line to tell you this message, given to me by the Astra Command, referred to November 4th, 1977, message that our planet, unfortunately, has 3 years. According to their previous message, it was not given an amount of time, but 3 years to either assume a more peaceful process or be disintegrated.
So in 3 years, if we are not a more peaceful people, we will be disintegrated.
Basically correct.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's more generous, I must say.
Species.
Yeah, that's more generous than a lot of recent end dates that we've had. Usually they're about a week or two away.
No. If you listen to their message, which was given on a television station in 1977, they interrupted a television station. There are many people who can communicate with aliens, by the way. I know that may sound very strange and crazy.
No, not on this show.
But No, but for most people, if you tell them that,
I'm
I'm an ER doc, so if I told people that, I would be taken away, I think.
You're an ER doctor?
Yeah. And
you don't mention this to your patients.
There's a lot of people who are have tremendous amount of psychic power. I'm sure you know this.
Well, I mean, that's why I opened the line, because I really did want to find these people.
Well, I've had this since a little boy. I have seen people, I guess you call them ghosts, walking through walls, and used to drive my parents crazy, chasing imaginary people through our house when I was 4 and 5, and that type of stuff. I have some other things I can do also, which are not the greatest things to talk about, I guess, but you know, I can see when somebody's going to die in advance.
Really?
Which is yeah, and I'm talking about days in advance.
May I ask this? How do you, when you see that they're going to die, when you look at this person and you have decided they're going to die, it is by, what is it you've seen that indicates that to you?
It's a very good question.
Yeah, it is.
I'll give you an example. When I was 11 years old at a table, sitting with my parents and a friend, and all of a sudden I saw a vision of this friend across from the table with blood all over his face, and his face was mangled. It lasted for about 4 seconds, 5 seconds. And I told my mother that, and she sort of looked at me with like a horrified expression.
Of course.
Because anyways, about a week later, he had an accident at work, and that's how he died. So it's not the greatest thing to have. I can also dream.
All right, well, let me stop you with that one. Yeah. If you can predict somebody to have, well, a horrible accident like that, the next question is, can you stop it? Can you intervene? Can you say, look, I'm looking at you right now, and I'm telling you that within the next week or so. No?
No, impossible. I'll tell you, my son, when he was 3 years old, was going to fall down 15 stairs the next day.
Yes.
When I have dreams that are in color, they always come true. I told my wife, whatever you do, keep an eye on him. Do not let him out of your sight. He was standing right next to me the next day. The door going down to the basement was closed, and I turned to the left. I looked somewhere. I turned to the right. He was 3. He disappeared. All of a sudden, I hear my wife screaming. She was downstairs in the basement. He went down 15 stairs, head over heels, not a scratch.
Oh, my God.
I mean, you can't prevent the future. I mean, at least our future.
Well, then it must be very painful to see it and not be able to do anything about it.
Well, it is extremely painful. Now, there are many people who are watching us, and it's often been talked about on your show and others.
The watchers.
That, yeah, they're watching us because we're at a critical stage. There are many people who can sort of figure out what's going on now. And there are aliens who are involved in the government. I have no doubt about that. In fact, I believe since 1963, they've been controlling the U.S. government, as crazy as that may sound.
Tell Trump.
But, well, you know, I mean, surely you see the changes that have occurred in society, you know, like.
I do, and, you know, most people.
There's a big fight going on.
Yeah, I know. Most people think that society is, I don't know, optimists are all over the place. I am not an optimist. I don't see it that way. I see things right now as going the wrong way. I don't know how much worse it can get. You know, we've got our jets over Syria. Russians have their jets over Syria. This is not going to lead to good things. The Middle East is a mess. If you're a biblical scholar, you probably already know that that's the most likely place for it all to begin. I wish I could say that I see a fuller glass of water, but right now I see big, big trouble ahead. On the first-time caller line, you're on the air. Hello.
Hey, Art, how's it going? Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I hear you fine.
Cool. I'm in Fort Collins, Colorado. My name is Todd, and I got turned on to you by my brother out in Southern California. So I just want to say I'm really excited that you're back on the air.
Well,
Been
thank you.
listening for about 3 years or so I'm kind of new to this, but I'm totally into it.
Okay, are you listening on the internet or radio?
I'm listening on TuneIn Radio because I can't get to. I don't listen. I just listen to my Apple phone and stuff like that. So
I understand.
we don't have a radio station locally that carries you.
Okay.
Yeah, as far as there's one in Aurora, but I don't know the name of it.
Yeah, everybody should call their local station and request the show.
Oh yeah, I'm absolutely going to do that. There's one out of Fort Collins, or actually Wellington, I believe, that has one.
Okay,
Yeah,
badger them.
so.
Badger them. Say,
absolutely.
No, don't badger them. Be kind.
No, I think they need to do it. It's a local station, and it's definitely, it's the best thing to listen to. But I have a quick story, if you don't mind.
Yes. Go right ahead.
Okay, so I don't really consider it a superpower, but I've always had a kind of a psychic intuition. And one of the most crazy experiences that I ever had with this was a dream. And it happened to be the Kansas City Chiefs player that had killed himself a few years back. My girlfriend works late at night, and she came home. She woke me up. I passed out on the couch. I just crawled into bed. Had a late night. The next morning, she woke me up, and she was all concerned. And she had listened to it on ESPN. And she was like, she woke me up. She was like, "Hey, did you see?" And I stopped her right away. She woke me up out of I'm in bed.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh yeah, I know that Kansas City Chiefs player killed himself and his girlfriend. And she just totally looked like, couldn't even believe what I had said. And she's like, "How'd you know that?" I said, "Well, I had a dream about it last night, or I think I saw it on the ESPN, the crawler." And she's like, "No, that didn't happen until 7 this morning." So I got up immediately. I went sat at the kitchen table. I flipped open my iPad and immediately had the most intense deja vu I've ever experienced, where I was in that moment, in my dream, and that crawler came up on the ESPN website, and I saw the player and everything that had happened.
Yeah, a lot of people don't believe that people like you. But what you're saying, I absolutely believe you, sir. We do have these powers. We can't use them frequently. We cannot use them at will. But
I think it's just random too.
It is.
I'm not even a Chiefs fan. I'm a Broncos fan.
I'm not a Chiefs fan either. In fact, I hate the Chiefs.
It's ironic. I want to tell you this story because you have so many Chiefs losses or whatever. But
I know it's been wonderful.
Well, it was just really crazy, and I even knew the guy's name. I looked. They didn't announce the guy's name yet. Yeah. It was just new, and they gave his name, and I looked down the Chiefs roster, and I went down and pointed at the first name, and I looked at my girlfriend. I was like, "His name's Javon Belcher." 30 minutes later, they came out and told us they released his name, and it was crazy. I think, honestly, I feel that this experience happened to me once my grandmother passed away. She raised us when we were kids and was very religious, very spiritual.
Yeah.
And ever since I lost her, I've had so many deep, spiritual experiences that have, basically since she passed away, I have no fear of death anymore. It's kind of crazy, but it's true, So
I believe you. And look, we have these abilities. End of story. We have these abilities. I don't know why we haven't paid attention to the fact that we have them more. Why it has to be something that's, way far out there to talk about. It's not really. To me, it's kind of normal. Humans absolutely have these abilities, and I don't care what scientists have to say. I know it's true. We could take calls all day and all night on this kind of thing. And when science is finally going to realize it, I guess the problem for science is repeatability, right? But if a few scientists would listen to this show for a while, I think they'd begin to believe, and maybe they'd start some studies. Hello, Mike on Skype.
Hi. All right. How you doing?
Very well, Mike.
Well, it's great to talk to you again. I'm going to tell you, my girlfriend's, her mother died last night.
Sorry.
And anyways, the four of us around the coffin actually saw her chest rising and falling like she was breathing. And my brother-in-law came over and mentioned it. And then all of us just looked up and said, "What? Are you serious?" And we saw that too.
Usually that would be followed by screams, people checking for a pulse, people calling 911.
No, it was the showing. Like, it was the funeral, right? I have my sister here. And you want to hear my sister's version of it?
Sure.
She's here. My sister-in-law's right here.
Put her on.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, Art. How are you?
Hi, hon. Is this, you verify this story?
Yes. I see my mom's chest
Moving.
going up and down, up and down.
But see, that's a sign of life, right?
That's right.
And so, didn't somebody scream and call 911 or something?
No. And also, and there's another story, too, I want to tell you.
Well,
I see my mom's light comes on every night over at her house.
Really?
Yes.
I just don't know what to say about all this, but the chest rising and falling part, how could you not react to that in what I consider to be a normal way? I would back away quick.
We were terrified. The four of us talked together about it and decided not say anything in front of anyone.
That's right.
But what about Mom?
Well, she died Sunday night. And we had to pull the plug, right? And
yeah.
She went peacefully.
Good.
And we just saw her chest just moving up and down for some reason.
Well, it was an open casket funeral.
Yes.
And then my brother Marcel come over to me and he said, "Did you not see her chest rising and falling like she was breathing, Michael?" And I said, "Yeah, I saw it too." And then Sandra said, "Yeah, I saw it." And then Lucy said, "Yeah, I saw it too." We all four of us saw it.
We saw it.
Okay. Well, that's worse, really. I mean, if four of you saw it, again, that's a sign of life.
It is.
Yeah. We asked her to show us.
Didn't it feel like upsetting
we
when
asked
the
her to come back and show us that she's still there when she passes? We asked her to show us a sign.
Well, that's a sign, all right.
She did.
All right. Thank you very much for the call. I don't know about that. I mean, I've got two people on the line telling me the same thing. A total of four people witnessing a chest rising and falling after supposed death, right? In the casket, right? That doesn't seem to me to be a reaction that computes. Whew. Wow. Gardnerville, hi. On my superpower line, you are on the air.
Hi. Yeah, Art, I had a couple times, I had traveled with another person, but with our eyes were closed. One time I was at this meeting, a spiritual meeting, and they said, close your eyes, see what you see, hear what you hear. And so I did, and I saw this group of men sitting in a circle, and they said, oh my God, where have you been? I haven't seen you in a long time. And I could see it perfectly clear. My eyes were closed. And they said, just remember, all is one, all is one. So I went home. A friend called. He said he was coming over. He had something to tell me. And when he got there, he said he was laying at home, and he saw the 6 men in the circle. He heard them say, all is one. He saw the same thing I did. And I had proof because at the meeting, they told us to write down what we saw.
Yes.
And write down what we so, and he saw it, he heard it. So then we thought, well, I wonder if we could do this at will.
Yes.
So we went to this mountain, we sat down, we closed our eyes. And when my eyes were closed, I could see him. It was like a cave. And there was two Oriental men in there, and they were talking to him, and I was standing afar, and I was just watching them for a long time. Excuse me. And then I came back, I opened my eyes, and I said, I wonder why they were talking to you. And he goes, I don't know what was going on. Why were they were teasing him. But again, we were at the same place, but our eyes were closed. I don't know what you call that, but it's
some
traveling.
kind of second sight. I don't know.
Well, because we end up always going to the same place, but it's not here. It's not from. It's another place.
Some kind of second sight.
Yes. And one time when I was camping, and it was nighttime, and I could see, when my eyes were closed, I could see the layout of the whole land, and like it was daylight, with my eyes closed. I don't know what you call it.
I don't either. That's the best I can do is second sight. I'm still thinking about Mom. That was an upsetting call to me. Mom's chest is going up and down. 4 people see it. They take Mom away. They bury Mom. Mom hears the dirt hitting the top of the casket. More dirt. More dirt. I don't know. Sam, hello there on Skype. Hello.
What is your take on these?
Sir, you're really loud. Back off a little bit. You're really loud.
What is your take on these pictures coming out of China about the floating cities in the clouds?
Oh, yeah, I saw that. It's on our website. It's at artbill.com. It looks like a gigantic flying saucer, right? Coming out of the clouds?
No, the cities that are appearing in the clouds. They've had 2 or 3 instances over the past 4 or 5 years now.
Okay, well, I have not yet seen cities, although it could be a reflection. Heaven knows they've got plenty of cities. But I have seen this giant saucer coming out of the clouds. It's pretty impressive.
Roger that. I know the picture that you're talking about, but that's not what I'm talking about.
Not the one.
They've actually got 2 or 3 different instances now where they have taken video and picture of, it looks like a mirage. Oh, wow, what a detailed, non-fluttery mirage.
Yeah. Well, that's probably what it is, some kind of mirage. I mean, we know we don't have cities in clouds, right?
Not in this dimension.
Right. So I would think that it's some sort of reflection. I have no, I can't answer your question, really. But
fair enough. Just thought I'd ask you. Hello to Belgad.
All right. Yes, hello to Belgad. Let's see. Hello there. You're on the air on my superpower line.
Hey, Art. This is Rob somewhere in Texas. How are you doing?
Doing well, sir.
What I wanted to tell you about was my superpower is, and I'm really just recently learning more and more of what it is, but for since I was real young, I would constantly just kind of know something was about to happen, especially driving. I used to race around Dallas, drag racing on motorcycles like a crazy person, and at least 3 different occasions, we'd be racing down the street, car pull out, and I would slow down way before it happened. 2 of my friends went to the hospital, but just constantly, I don't see it. I don't see the car coming. I don't know that something, but I just know something's going to happen, and I pull out of whatever situation. I get out of that lane, or
well, that's intuition, very strong intuition. I guess you could call that a superpower. I guess that qualifies. And not only that, but it's probably kept you alive.
Well, amen. Most recently, I, started learning. I've been studying a ton of stuff. I hurt my leg. I worked offshore on an oil exploration rig.
Yes, sir.
Hurt the back of my. Went to the doctor. They couldn't figure out what it was, and then decided for my own research. Basically learned how to, I went to the doctor, and this is what I want instead of all these antibiotics, which the antibiotics weren't working. But they started giving me some different steroid shots or whatever. Anyways, it fixed it. Me telling them how to fix it somehow. And I'm not a doctor, obviously. But it just, but anyways, wouldn't heal. So I started studying about why I'm not healing, why I've been gaining weight a bunch the last couple of years. And it's, why most people in America are overweight is because they figured out on us the human domain, mastering the human domain on us. But food, they figured out in the 60s, 50s, and 60s of what, when you put it in your mouth and you tasted some kind of sweet or fat or whatever, it would ping the top of your head
and make you want to just basically keep eating until you just almost blow up. And what I realized recently is the fact that
are you, sir, in danger of blowing up?
No, actually, I've lost about 60 pounds in the last 6 months.
Okay.
Just basically not eating sugar.
Okay. Well, you're deflating, and sugar is not that good for you anyway. Of all the things that they have determined, they have recently determined probably the worst thing for you is sugar. Coffee, on the other hand, is now in the A list. Coffee will cure most of your ills, according to the recent Science magazine I read. It's good for your kidneys. It's good for your liver. It's good all the way around. It's good for your brain. It may slow down the onset of Alzheimer's and or prevent it. Coffee is good all the way around, according to the latest scientific news. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying that's what science says now. Going to Bloomington, Illinois, I believe. You're on the air.
Hello?
Hello.
Is that me?
It's you.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Long-time listener. Love the show.
You've never called before?
Nope, never called before.
Okay.
I couldn't find you on my radio for a really long time.
Well,
and then I rediscovered you on 92.9, same as the other lady from earlier.
Okay. I thought you were her.
No. It's ironic. Yeah, we're both up late at night.
Okay.
I have an interesting story to share with you.
Okay.
Okay. So it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm a night owl, so I was reading, and my cats were on my bed, kids were asleep, and I hear this noise in my kitchen. It sounds like a bunch of cans falling off the counter. And so I'm like, okay, I'm really organized, so I didn't know what that was. So I'm about 10 feet away from the kitchen. My door was closed, but I'm about 10 feet away. So I open the door, look out there real slow, and I'm kind of worried, you know. And so I go out there slowly, looking around. Nothing's out of place at all. And then I look to my left a little bit, and there's lavender flower on the floor. And it came out of my vase that's up on a shelf about maybe 10 feet high.
Really?
And it's about 3 to 4 feet away from the shelf. And I'm like, I'm like, how did that get there? Because, you know, I have boys and they are asleep and they're not interested in flowers. They would never touch it. And I'm like, it's 3 in the morning. Everybody's asleep. So I go over there and I'm looking at the desk, you know, like, you know, we don't have critters, but I thought, what if there was one in here or something, and got up there. Nothing knocked it over. The vase was in place. Everything was on place.
Yeah.
So fast forward just a little bit. It was 3 when that happened. 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm watching the news, and I hear that the Boston Marathon had a bombing.
I'm sorry, repeat that, please.
It was at 8 o'clock, a couple hours later, at 8 o'clock in the morning, I had heard on the news that there was a bombing at the Boston Marathon.
I see. Yes.
Yeah. And I have no connection with anybody at Boston or the marathon. But years and years ago, I heard that, or I read in a dreams book that lavender flowers are the sign of death. So it was just kind of like, wow. You know, I kind of went, whoa, because the cans maybe could have sounded like a bomb, you know? So it was kind of I don't know if it was a premonition or someone telling me something was going to happen.
Or an absolute, it might have been a coincidence. You know, you heard a noise. That doesn't necessarily automatically relate to the bombing in Boston. But on the other hand, you never know, I guess. George, on Skype, you're on the air.
Hi, Art. I have a story for you about an actual death experience.
Yeah, I'm actually still worried about Mom's chest going up and down.
I don't blame you there.
Yeah, really humorous.
But this story, it happened to me when I was a teenager, and while sleeping one night, I had a dream, and I've come to think that this dream was a past life death.
Really?
And
how did you die?
The dream began with me standing at the end of a ship's plank, and I could see who I assume was the leader of the ship.
Oh man, you were made to walk the plank?
Yeah, I think so. I think I was made to walk the plank. the leader of the ship was there, and
Man,
at the end of the plank,
what a way to go.
And all the rest of the pirates were on deck. And
were your hands tied?
I don't know.
Must have been.
Maybe.
All right, hold on, sir. We're at a break. I don't get too many walk the plank stories, so we'll hold over this one.
All right, again, they're going to go into a musical bumper. My apologies, for some reason the recording apparatus dropped us out of full screen, so give me 1 second, I'll bring us back. And then we'll continue, and they will continue. Trying to bring Jasmine up. She only has that one item needed. And only one of the two items of that item are needed. That being the Giant Slayer. We need 5 of them. Trying to get them at the cheapest energy requirement, and that's 6 per here in the frigid place.
Take a ride from the high desert and the great American Southwest. This is Midnight in the Desert, exclusively on the Dark Matter Digital Network. To call the show, dial 1-952. Call Art. That's 1-952-225-5278.
You know, I really wish I hadn't had that mom call. That's going to be with me, at minimum, all the weekend long now. I don't want that call at all. Oh, my. George, you're back on the air again.
Okay, hi, Bart.
You were on the air, right?
Yes.
Yes, right. Okay. Continue.
Okay, so I'm standing at the end of the plank.
About to walk it, yes.
And, you know what you said about hands being tied behind your back and weighted?
I would think,
Makes sense. I didn't realize that in the dream, but when I hit the water, I did just sink.
Well, sure, because you just go straight down.
And I always assumed that it was kind of like because we were in the middle of the ocean and there's no reason to tread water, just...
No, I mean, if you're a swimmer, I mean, you're going to go down, but then you're going to pop back up again. Of course, not with the bag of rocks tied around your feet.
So anyway, I could see myself sinking.
Yeah.
But then shortly thereafter, I was rising. And I rose above the water and saw everyone on the ship.
Really?
It seemed like to be a very solemn type of thing. And I got the impression that I was one of the pirates and that I must have done something to offend the captain, something bad. But
something legal?
Probably not. But
kidding. Be offended by something legal.
And I got the impression that some of the pirates weren't happy that I was being killed this way.
Oh, well, that leaves something to be, well, I don't know, happy about, but...
Yeah. So anyway, I rose up and up and up, and eventually I kind of saw the earth more or less dissolve underneath me.
Wow.
And then there was nothing but blackness.
Yeah.
And way off in the distance, I did, like maybe by turning around or something, I did see some little piece of light. And so I thought, well, I'll head that way. I don't know what else to do.
Right.
And I don't know if I was heading that way on purpose or if I was being drawn to it. One way or another, that's where I was going.
Yes.
And as I got closer to this point of light, it resolved to be many points of light orbiting or going around this big ball of light.
Okay.
And as I got closer and sort of I kind of realized that I was also a point of light. And these other points of lights were other people. And I couldn't understand, but I could hear other people talking, and just basically reacting to being in the situation. And anyway, as I was going around with all these other points of light surrounding this big ball of light, I kind of figured out that, oh, okay, these must be other dying people, and that big ball of light must be God, and I'm not ready to meet my maker. I've been a pirate. I didn't think I'd led a good life. And so I, just out of fear or something, I just decided to dive downwards.
Okay.
And when I did that, I got stuck in like a whirlpool type thing, and it just was like a vortex.
Like a womb?
Well, that's what I think is going down that vortex was what brought me back into this life.
And do you remember your birth?
No.
No.
I don't remember anything.
All right,
after
so
that.
maybe that's how it works. Maybe that's how reincarnation works. You walk the plank, you buzz around some lights, you're in the womb again. This time as who knows what. Let's go to our superpowers line and say hello. You're on the air.
Hello, Art. Oh my goodness, what a pleasure to talk to you. Anyway, I've been a long time listener and a first time caller. I've remembered that the first time I listened to the show when a guy was flying over Area 51 and got shut down. And
long time ago.
Yes, so it's been a long time.
Now, you're on my superpower line. You know that, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So since I remember, I've been able to remember things since I was about a few months old, and including memories of my thoughts. I remember how I was not even able to communicate, but I understood, and I was trying to tell some things to my mom, and I couldn't know how to say them. Anyway,
well, how is this in any way different than any other baby?
Well, apparently, other people, I've been talking to many people, and apparently they're not able to remember all the way, and including thoughts of a baby, of an infant, of trying to understand what mother is communicating or saying. So it's apparently it's quite unusual. Also,
do you remember laying there having your diaper changed?
Yes, and the feeling of the dirty diaper.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. You remember drinking from a bottle?
Yeah, actually, I remember that my mom breastfeeding me.
So you remember breastfeeding? Well, this is pretty good, actually. Yeah, pretty good.
Well, also, when I was in kindergarten, I was eating with utensils, of course, and I've been playing with one of my utensils, a fork, and I kind of noticed that the fork is bending quite easily. And I showed it to my friend of mine, and my friend, she tried it on hers, but she couldn't, and I ended up actually breaking my fork. So I tried on hers, and it was pretty easy too. Of course, other kids noticed it. And
now you mentioned this is in kindergarten. Is that right?
Yes, in kindergarten. And I was in kindergarten, and I ended up breaking several utensils and getting in huge trouble. My mom had to buy utensils to this. Yeah, and then she told me never, ever do that again. So I have not been able to do that since then.
Well, you know what? You should give it a try as an adult.
Yeah, I tried it, but somehow I don't know how I did that. I tried it, but I have not been successful since then. Also, I'm able to speak to clouds and make rain.
You're able to speak to clouds? Clouds?
Clouds make them rain or...
Now, that's quite a talent. Now, what do you say to a cloud?
It's a way of communication through my head, through my mind, and basically being part of it. And it's sort of like I'm not really asking, I'm sort of telling them, okay, this is what I'm going to do, this is what's going to happen.
Uh-huh.
So, yes, at first, when I was a teenager, when my parents had to ask me to do some gardening and things like that outside, and I didn't want to, I would talk to the rain to have it rain, for example, and I didn't have to do it at that time or something like that. It was kind of fun. But then later on, I kind of realized, and then also started listening to you, And I'm like, you know what? I really don't know if I want to be changing and playing with Mother Nature. So I kind of don't want to do that.
So you followed my example.
Yeah. So I kind of like, you know what? I'm not sure what I'm doing for sure. So I'll let nature be what does.
You haven't been screwing around with Southern California, have you?
No, actually, no.
That's not you.
Yeah, no, that's me. Sorry.
All right. Thank you very much. So there's somebody who can make it rain, she says. Michael, hello on Skype.
Yeah, good morning, guys.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, first-time Skype user and first-time caller.
Really?
Yes.
I sense a little echo, but you sound great.
Yeah, I was saying, I don't think you need to worry about Mom a whole lot because most people, when aren't they embalmed and the blood would be gone?
Well, one would think. But either way you look at this, it's very worrisome.
Yeah, it is. I agree with you 100%, but there's got to be an explanation.
Well, I would want it then as opposed to just contemplating it later.
Oh, definitely I would. Think somebody would have tried to listen for a heartbeat or something.
Thank you. It's going to stick with me. That call is going to stick with me. And there were two people saying it too, which bothered me all the more.
Yeah, and it bothers me too to hear it. And I've been trying to think of anything logical, but like you say, you would take it further. I would definitely want to see if there's a heartbeat, listen to see if you can sense a pulse or breathing or something.
Yeah. What are you using to call?
My Android phone.
Boy, it sounds good.
Well, thank you.
Let it be a lesson to all. You can sound like this. You hear the authority in his voice.
Well, that's great.
Anyway, what else is on your mind, sir?
Oh, not a lot. Just enjoy hearing you. I'm glad you're back.
All right. Well, thank you. And you have a very, very good night. Let's go to the phones and to a first-time caller line. You're on the air. Hello.
Hello, Art.
Hi.
I am such a long-time listener that I remember when you threw a party for yourself in your studio for your 50th affiliate.
Yeah, we're just about to round that corner, actually. Again. Yes, that's right.
So I missed the show yesterday. I didn't hear the EAMs, but I've heard and decoded thousands of them.
Yeah, well, this one was creepy. I'm telling you, creepy.
We used to get sometimes dozens or even more than that a day when I was in the Air Force, and I decoded all of them. That fellow from the Navy had it. I'm surprised he figured it out as well as he did by listening to the. He was right about the preambles and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It must have been pretty scary to hear because they're just standard preambles and then rambling characters after that.
Right. Well, rambling is right. And you know what scares me is the state of the world right now, in my estimation, is scarier than it's been in our lifetimes. Or as scary as pre-Cuba, or pretty close to it. I'm telling you, it feels like we're on the edge of an abyss from a conflict point of view. And I don't like what Russia is doing. I don't like the possibility of being in such proximity to them with our warplanes. It's not going to lead to anything good. Skype, you're on the air. Hello.
Hey, I hate to be the second person this evening to rehash the past, but I was hoping you would go into a little bit of detail on what you think the United States government was looking for when they investigated the possibility of Mel's Hole.
I think that if they were listening to that program and they looked into Mel's Hole, they're looking, what is the U.S. government always looking for? Something that'll be a useful weapon.
So you think that the possibility of a bottomless pit would come in handy as a weapon? See, I see it as some place where you can efficiently dump things like nuclear waste, etc. Whereas, maybe a weapon seems reasonable, but, I think of it as just like with garbage.
Okay, so you dump nuclear waste into it, and what crawls out?
Hey, good question. Nuclear physicists might be able to call in and answer that one.
And you might want to ask them before you dump the waste in there. Something with big teeth, sir.
I was hoping that you've been talking about the megastructures a little bit, but you've been talking to all these people and asking them what they have to say about it. I know that you're kind of leaning towards the possibility of it being a Dyson sphere, but do you have anything else to say on that? What do you think's going on there?
Look, sometimes you just have to say, I don't know. And in this case, I don't know. But if they are megastructures, I'm pretty sure we don't want to meet the people that built them.
Well, I'm curious myself, but I tend to remain a little as cautiously optimistic as you.
Thank you. I have always hoped that in my lifetime we would discover alien life. Now, this may be it. It may be that SETI will point the telescopes in that direction, radio telescopes, and they will actually detect something. It may not be a signal per se, but it may be noise. A civilization capable of doing that kind of thing may even inadvertently be doing something from a industrial point of view, if I can loosely use that term, that would generate radio noise that could be heard 1,500 years later. Let's go to our first-time caller line. You're on the air.
Oh, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, sir. Where you're down in Texas?
Yes, I am down in Texas. I'm right out of Houston, Texas, and I'm listening to you on 5085 kilohertz on WTWW.
All right. I think you also have a local affiliate, by the way.
Oh, we do? What would that be?
Well, you would ask. I don't have a list here. So.
I can find it out. I just wanted to tell you that somebody's listening to you on shortwave on the ham, of course, and I tuned my receiver across 5085, and I got a 40/9 signal. So I said, "What's this?" And then I realized you're back on, and
right.
Let
me tell you something, sir. If you're a shortwave listener, if you listen to a lot of shortwave, then let me run this by you. We have got to be, by far and away, the most interesting thing on shortwave. I mean, shortwave has sort of deteriorated a little bit into, well, frankly, most of the countries that we're broadcasting, many of them have signed off. There are some religious stations on, but in terms of what you find on the dial, we've got to be one of the more interesting.
Absolutely. Another interesting one, I mean, absolutely for sure. And I know the genesis of the station that you took over, which is absolutely fantastic that you did that. And, Havana, Cuba is getting interesting. I used to listen to Radio Moscow. I listened to Radio Moscow when the fall of Russia was falling, which was very interesting. But the other broadcasters that are broadcasting a philosophy, let's just put it that way.
A philosophy, yes.
Of religion per se. It's too mundane and it's not good. But I really enjoy listening to you. I just wanted to tell you that.
Well, listen, thank you. And you know what, sir, our show is ending, so I'm going to give you the chance to tell everybody good night.
Okay, well, good night, everybody, and this is excellent quality broadcasting from Art Bell and shortwave radio and the Internet.
Thank you, brother. All right, I want to thank my crew, and I do have a crew. Telos, my buddy Joe Talbot here. Thank you, Joe. Keith Rowland, my webmaster. Heather Wade, my producer. If you've got a guest you want, it's producer@artbell.com. Producer@artbell.com. Stream guys, LV.net. LV.net people are great. They're about their 50th anniversary. Sales, of course, Pete Eberhardt, TuneIn Radio, a lot of you listening on TuneIn Radio, and Amy Martin, our new news gal. Thank you all, and just imagine it's not just me, but it's a whole crew that does this. I'm sorry to leave all the phone lines going, Skype going nuts. We could do hours. From the high desert, the soggy high desert, good night.
Thank you, Art. And again, just because I do know that YouTube does like to copyright that last little twinge of the Midnight in the Desert theme, I have to leave you there before we do get a copyright restriction notation. But that is the end of the Superpower Line episodes from Midnight in the Desert. Of course, that means tomorrow night we will have a brand new topic on the interview line. Actually, let's bring up the audio of Hero Wars since we do have a few moments. Which requires me, of course, to go all the way out. You might ask me why I'm trying to worry about the next Yasmin item, because it's only like one item away from completing. So it'd be a little foolish to not finish it off. And this will also get us set up for part 1, which we normally do the taste and sounds of Hero Wars as we play. It's more of me talking all the way through the hour, getting things done, and the sounds and music of Hero Wars. If you do have any ideas for any new topics for any of the segments, either part 1, part 2, or part 3 in the day, whether it be the Midnight in the Desert episode, the Comedian/Sovereign Citizens and Karens episode, or of course the sounds of Hero Wars, drop us a line. And of course, to drop that line, you can either drop it directly into the chat below, or while we're on the live premiere, into that live chat there, or on email at gcheroWars@gmail.com. It's GC, then the word Hero Wars, all one word, at gmail.com. Back to the fight. Round 3. And we still cannot get that last one piece of the primordial word. As you see, we're at 19, needing 20. Let's try it one more time from the top, as the old saying goes. Still nothing. Come on, you think we can get just one credit here? Come on, game. Really? You can't give us just one? All we're asking for is one. Let's see if a speed up does it. And fudge. Still fucking nothing. How about a raid? Will that do it? No, god damn. Still just the one fucking fight away. Try one more raid then. Actually, hold on a second. Out. Give me the 6. Try raiding that one. Cheaper to raid. 6 energy instead of 8. Do a 10 because that should guarantee the one then. And actually got 2. But we've got it. That's all that matters. Crate. Crate. And equip. Alrighty, so that will move Yasmin's magic number to 2. Kira will still need 5, Iris 2, Celeste 1, and Astaroth 3. And I'm going to probably, hopefully, get some spreadsheets done in the next several hours before we go on for our tomorrow's episodes. To go ahead and have some information. By the way, good shout-outs to both to Victor and K Love Shazuru. I hope I'm not butchering the name on that. Both people who do watch the show and sent me messages over on server 87. Definitely appreciate both of you. Make sure you keep liking, sharing, subscribing, and telling your friends. We definitely do love and appreciate any and all individuals watching. Okay, we do have the one promotion for Yasmin. We're going to save the regular mail in there just so we do have something for our next time we hit the proverbial mailbag. And we do have a few daily quests already in the books. Let's see on the special quest line. As we load up, today will be energy. We'll keep that for later when we need it. Get the 50 of each intelligence, strength, and agility stones. The emerald waterfalls. Grab the 5,000 pieces of gold there. And of course the bare necessities, the simple little necessities, and the 12 experience potions there. Alrighty, and what we're going to be looking for today in the Elemental season, again, of course, if you do wish to sponsor the gold ticket portion of that gold Elemental season, again, down in the chat, or send me an email over at gchero@gmail.com. So today we're going to pet summon Magic Defense Glyph 2 times using a marksman hero, which we already did without knowing. New 3-day quests, 15 summons in the summoning circle. Tank hero defeating in a arena battle. And of course, last day, last shot, would need to pull, let's do it right now, need to pull 9 stones from the chest. Alright, so here's what I want from you, Nexters. Either give me the 9 automatically and we can be happy, which would have to be at least from a 2-star hero or higher, or give me just one where it's absolutely not worth my time. What I really don't want you to do is give me something like a 7, where you're only 2 away, because I don't want to be at a point where I have to be tempted to spend emeralds to open a heroic chest. Either do it, or basically make it where it's impossible. Here we go. And the magic of the chest is... well, you did what I asked. You gave me just the 1. So yeah, it would be 8 away and not really feasible. Because I could see it, I'd purchase it, and I'd get the 7. And you'd still be just 1 away. Now you might say with only 2, 15 would be a little hard to come up with, but it's going to be easy because you get 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1, 9, 12, 14, 15 a day when your guild does fully max out on the deals. We can easily do the pet summon though while we still have a moment. So let's go ahead and grab that. Crack open a golden egg, please. 3 canes. Alrighty, that'll work. So nicely done there. And the magic defense glyph twice. So we're going to need what? 190, 190, 380? 350, 60, 70. That must be a little more for the next level. Okay. So we needed 410 for the 2. Let me guess, 220? Alright, so that gives us that. That's going to give us what? 1,050. That's definitely going to take you up a level. Boom. Boom. And boom. Gets us to 6. The new prize is 300,000 in gold. Again, anybody who does sponsor, we currently would have the 500, 15 spears, 10 chaos cores, a champion skin. I believe that one would be for... yes, leave me alone. That would be for Sigurds. More skins, 10,000 of the artifact coins, a 2-star Albus, 80 potions, 2 million in gold, 150. I believe that's the, is that the defense seal or the yeah, defense seal, and a 2-star Envari. Of course, with many more still to come, including 3 stars again, more to Hyperion. 3 million in gold, 50 big money black balls, more of the Seals to boost the deal, 1,500 diamonds, emeralds, 3 stars to Lars, 200 more experience potions, more of the glyph items, flawless materials, 5 million in gold, 10,000 potions, 3 more stars to Araji, 2 more 1,000 emeralds, champion skin, that's either going to be to Araji or Moloch. 15,000 more potions, another 10 million in gold, 15,000 pet potions, 2,500 of the emeralds, 3 stars to Eden, which means we should probably see another. Oh, by the way, there's more of the flawless now in the higher category. 7,500 of the Grand Arena coin. Champion skin, that's probably going to be, I don't believe it's Eden, but it's going to be whoever the Earth one, Angus, the Earth Shield. 25 eggs, 2,000 skin stones, 15 scrolls, a totem spirit, that'll give you one more totem, and then of course once you're at 50, then you start getting the elemental boxes. And of course here at the end, the only thing great here at the end of the free path at 50 is 100 hero stone box. So, with that being said, again, enjoy those shout outs to you, and if you want a shout out, just drop me a line. Be more than happy to do so for you as well. But day 42-3 draws to a close here in Dominion. Again, make sure you do like, share, and subscribe. Get us to those goals so both Boxy over at Nexters, 5,000 views, will pay attention to us. 1,000 subscribers, so YouTube pays attention to us. And again, as always, we've always promised, and we're not going to basically back down now. Any guests we get from either Nexters or YouTube, we will immediately pass on directly to you, the guests and watchers of our programming. Again, down at the bottom, get your crypto free from CoinBase. I'm not going to go through it, but the info's down there for you. And until tomorrow, day 43, it's always a great new world to release the Krakens. And we've actually had somebody ask why I make the closing that way. And it's actually combining my original Servers Guild, the Krakens, with this new Servers Guild, the New World, so it gets the best of both of the guilds together. So again, the great new world to release the Krakens. I hope you have a great evening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for day 43 of From Day 1. Again, make sure you please like, share, and subscribe.